Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a bench press day. And today I went a little heavier on some of my pressing, just my accessory stuff. And I've realized I don't know that that's really ideal. I just wanted to see how it felt to do everything at around fives. So I may take it down a little lighter and get the reps up a little bit. Again, just to get the training volume a little higher while still pushing limit sets. Right, because I feel like I can take shorter breaks. If I start doing, a little bit lighter weight for more reps, I personally feel more recovered. I can get quicker breaks in and get through these workouts quicker because I'm doing quite a few sets and I'm trying to keep these workouts inside of an hour. And it's a little bit tough when I'm doing the fives. So benching today, I went back to pinkies on rings just to kind of see how it feels. And you know what? It's still pretty hard doing it flat back with no wrist wraps or anything, but I feel like I'm going to have to just stick it out. I'm going to have to just build that wrist strength and everything up again, and I'm going to have to get used to the flat back. It's harder, it's more difficult without me arching, and I've noticed pinkies on rings is really, for me, I think the sweet spot for getting the most stretch on the pectorals, because I'm trying to get my chest as big as possible. And I'm going to keep hammering triceps, of course, just to make sure that if I need to go back in close grip, if my close grip is still stronger, I need the tricep strong to do it. So for assistance work today, I did 275 for all pauses, and again, keeping it pretty much flat back. Again, notice the long range of motion here. Tried to do good pauses on every rep. The fives were pretty heavy for this. So I think what I may do, because I went 275 on this and then 225 on incline, I feel like I get more quality volume if I drop this down. So I may go back down to just 225 for the assistance work after a top set with 315. And then the incline, maybe do it back at the 185 and try to get 3 sets instead of just 2, right? Because again, I want to make sure that volume is there. I want to make sure the volume is there, just like I need to really make sure the volume comes up on the lower body stuff too. Side note, pull-ups went to, which is for me a dead hang every rep. I got 3 sets of 10 today. Real happy with that. So at least my pull-up strength is coming back, right? That's coming back. So that's something to be happy about. So the pull-up strength's coming back. I was 219 on the scale today, so the scale weight's coming down. And like I said, I'm going to continue to get leaner. And I'm hoping as I get down to about 210, all that fat in the loose skin area around the love handle and flank and hip area will start to come down. Because again, for those who are unaware, that's about a little over a gallon of fat. A gallon jug of fat has about 7 pounds. Would be the equivalent. So I'm just going to keep dieting, and I'm not going to worry about if my bench press strength isn't on point while I'm cutting. I'm going to do my best to build my pecs and triceps and try to recomp the best that I can to make up for any fat loss, because we know losing fat can affect your bench. And I'm just going to stick it out, and I'm not going to worry about negative comments, because that's usually what makes me terminate a cut early. At any point is concerns of strength loss. Well, at this point, I need to get real lean. Okay, I need to get lean. I need to just go ahead and do it, bite the bullet. And if anyone has anything negative to say that my bench he's no longer doing 8 reps of 315, he's not going to be hit a 405 soon. You know what? I'm just going to get rid of him. That way, I don't get the negative influence, and I'll stick this cut out, because I can always regain muscle. And as long as I stay on top of the hypertrophy, I feel like once I go back to some power type benching, wrist wraps, all that stuff, and I may get my wrist strong enough to where I don't need any of it, I think I'll be fine. The incline though, these felt heavy. So I did the fives of 225 today. And here's the interesting thing. Yeah, it felt heavy. And I felt, a lot of shoulder. I didn't feel the same upper chest pump I get when I go lighter and get a little more reps. So again, something to think about. Because again, other than my heavy work, I'm going to have to think like a bodybuilder right now. Doesn't mean we're not going to squat, bench, and deadlift heavy. We're going to do those for low reps. We're going to do those for heavyweight. But everything else, I really need to start thinking like that. So just like the pull-ups, we go to a dead hang. And I'm working that mobility. Mobility's coming up. Notice I was able to do my leg raises hanging onto a bar without the slings. Okay. My pullovers, my range of motion's improving. I'm getting better and better at those. So all of that's in a good spot. All that's in a good spot. You know, people have said, well, are you going to overhead press? Eventually, I think I will. However, here's the thing. I need my shoulders mobility and health to be 100% on point. Now, I'm pain-free. The range of motion is increasing. That's a good thing. But I don't want to push my luck too soon. You know, especially with a cut. When I'm cutting, I can't afford injuries. So we're going to just chase good pump, good burn, full ranges of motion, lengthen positions on stuff. And then we'll save the heavy stuff for the top squat, bench, and deadlift sets, right? So I'm still getting power training in, even if I'm doing harder versions. You know, the flat back benching, beltless high bar squats, all that stuff. And I'm actually debating bringing the deficit deadlifts back in for the top set. Just maybe a 1-inch deficit. Again, chasing those ranges of motion. So on the arm work today, I realized, the heavy stuff, I don't know if this is really going too heavy is the way to go. So I did my first sets heavy, Skullcrushers, and then I did a barbell 135 curl. And then I realized, I'm like, you know what? I really need to do more pump on this because I felt my elbow tendons a little on this. And I can't get the same stretch as if I take 20 pounds off. I can roll it back towards my face at the bottom. It gives a totally different pump. Doing it this way with a little heavier weight just feels like a lot more tendon. Now I came over, did my curls though. I still did the 135 for these for 8. And then I'm like, let me just go back. I have 2 easy curl bars. Let me just load up the easy curl bar. That felt really good on biceps. I'll still stick a full plate on it, and let's try to get some higher reps. Really good control, lean forward, all of that stuff. Right? So I just did these. I'm just going to mark the sheet as if I did all my sets with what I do on the next 2. And that way we'll just forget those 2 sets ever happened. So, but I feel like right here, this Skullcrusher technique right here, with that lighter weight where I roll it back to the face, right? Now that lights my tricep up. And I don't feel the same tendon. This is what I need to do. Even if let's say I get 15s. All right. My tricep's not going to grow because I do some close to limit sets with 15s. Come on. Plus I'm doing all the heavy pressing first. And that's the thing I have to remember. These are finesse movements. They're finesse movements. Stop thinking like a power lifter. These are just to grow my arms. I need my triceps and biceps bigger. All right. We're getting the heavy work on all the big movements. So this is a lot better. All right. Coming all the way down, I'm leaning forward so that I can get the stretch at the bottom. Notice I pause briefly at the bottom so that I get that full stretch. Pretty much took these to failure. And I think that's probably what I want to do on curls. I know my arms need the work. Skullcrusher is a little harder to go quite to failure because the bar's over your face. See what I mean? So I get within maybe 1 rep away to where it burns really good. And if I need to, I may work a band press down set into failure at the end. But curls, pretty much limit sets. That one not so much, but the first one and then the last one I did. But yeah, even these, so even at 15s, these give a great pump and burn. Again, with all the pressing volume, my triceps are going to get up plenty of work, especially if I go up to a 3rd set of inclines. So if we get three flat bench and 3 incline every workout with good volumes, triceps are getting a decent amount of work. This is just to come in and hammer that long head at that point. And so again, getting that stretch towards the face, that rollback is important. And I feel a deeper stretch with this than I do when I go behind the head, interestingly enough. So that's one reason I've kind of gone back to this. But I've got to check the ego on it and quit going, let's get heavy. Because I was sitting there debating today of actually putting a 45 on each side. Well, the other hurt the tendon slightly. So, we know that we don't really need to be doing that. That's not ideal. It's not a good idea. Right? And I think we can tell, I think this lighting shows that I'm definitely getting decently lean. And this is the same lighting as always. It's just it's dark out. It was storming this morning. This is training early in the morning. So it's just the lighting that's there. I can't really change it unless I set up lights. But I think we can tell that other than the loose skin area, I'm getting decently lean. Now, obviously, the area around that waistline, because of that's going to hold more fat. but I will diet it down. If the pounds come off, it has to come somewhere, and so that's where it's going to come from. But, I mean, I think we can tell things like chest and shoulders and stuff are decently lean right now. Hamstrings, you can see my hamstrings pretty good. So, you know, we're getting decently lean, but that area around that loose skin area is going to have to come off. All right, pullovers, the range of motion is feeling really good on these, and I do drop the hips and try to take the deepest breath possible, but what we have to watch is the upper arm angle relative to the spine. Now, I want to keep working this range of motion. When I can get these to the perfect range of motion, then I will see how overhead pressing feels. Right? We'll see how it feels. I'd love to be able to work in some overhead pressing, but I need it to be right. And when I do it, I want to do it old school military press way. Heels together, touch the clavicle in every rep. All right. But these I did 12s today, so I worked up to 12 reps, try to take longer pauses near the end. So these are dramatically improved. And I'll just keep banging up reps and stretches on this until these get higher. I could go up to a 55-pound plate, but I feel like I'm getting a good stretch and burn with this. It's finishing it off. I will just work it up over time. Yeah, it may get to a point to where I use a pair of 45s, but we'll be in a good place by the time that happens. But again, pretty happy with these. I feel like I'm getting a good stretch. These are no longer painful. They just give a good stretch and a good burn. Lights a lot of stuff up though. Feel certain parts of my chest, certain parts of my back, my shoulders, and other stuff I'm not normally feeling. A lot of stuff crackles. Sometimes when I first started doing these, it's not crackling now. It feels like a lot of it's loosening up. So I feel like these are a game changer. I quit doing dead hangs on now because I don't feel they're bringing as much other than when I'm doing my hanging leg raises. And 3 sets of that twice a week should be enough. I feel like that should be adequate to do what we need to do. So that's what I'm going to do. But overall, good workout. I do feel like I should probably take the reps a little higher on the assistance pressing. Otherwise, pretty good workout. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.